Have you ever woken yourself up in the middle of the night by yelling, only to find that you're panting and it feels like your heart is trying to come out of your chest? Those who suffer from night terrors, a rare sleep disorder that affects 6.5% of children and only 2.2% of adults, know what it's like.
My name is Cameron Asbury and I have night terrors. It started when I was about 7 years old. I would scream in the middle of the night and then I would just get up and sleepwalk. I would do random stuff like get up and talk to my mom. Then I'd go back to bed and I wouldn't really have any memory of it the next morning. As I got older, around the age of 10, the sleepwalking part kind of went away and it transitioned more into me just frantically trying to get away from my room. And once again, in the morning after I'd wake up, I wouldn't have any memory of this happening.
According to kidshealth.org, night terrors are caused by overarousal of the central nervous system during sleep. Night terrors happen about 2 to 3 hours after falling asleep, when the sleeper transitions from a deep stage of non-REM sleep to a lighter stage of REM sleep. Technically not a dream, night terrors can be described as a deep feeling of dread or fear that happens during this transition.
When I was about 11, my mom told my doctor about the night terrors. He told me it couldn't really be helped, but he did say I could try melatonin because some people with night terrors find that it helps. Unfortunately, the melatonin didn't help, and my night terrors have only gotten worse as I've gotten older.
Typically, night terrors go away on their own as the nervous system matures. This is why it's much more rare in adults than children, because most who suffer from night terrors outgrow them by the time they become adults.
By the time I turned about 16, I started to remember most of my night terrors. I would describe it as a hallucination. It's nothing like a dream. Basically, you wake up in the middle of the night and you see something that you find scary. Usually I see stuff like bugs or snakes. And sometimes they're even accompanied by auditory hallucinations, like people tell me to get away from the situation. I would say the worst part about having my night terrors is the strain it puts on my life. There have been times, like the evening after having multiple night terrors in the same night, when I'm afraid to go back to sleep because I never know when I'm going to have another one. Another thing that makes it difficult is that it's really draining on me, especially when I have more than one night terror in the same night. I feel like I don't get any rest at all when that happens, and I spend the next day in a tired, groggy haze. Living in a college dorm, I have to use a key card to get in my room. If I accidentally forget it when I leave, I'm locked out, and I have to get a spare key to get back in. This used to happen in the middle of the night a lot when I would have night terrors, but I eventually learned to sleep with my keys in my pocket, because if you lock your key in your room a certain number of times, they charge you to get a new one. Living with night terrors isn't easy, but it's something I have to face. I can only hope that one day I'll outgrow them, but until then, I just have to deal with it.